We just want it to stop. Whatever's going on, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
It's terrible. Make it stop. Make it go away. Let the water clear up.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
Write it down. Uh,
Write that down.
Welcome to the Dream on Purpose podcast. I'm Cannon,
Hi, I'm Dr. Clint.
and we're in the car again. This is going to be, I like the car pod. Car pod is good.
Love the car pod.
Car pod is
We've
good.
gotten a little bit of good feedback on it. A little cold today, a little chilly.
Yeah, it's raining sideways.
Cold.
But before, we do sit here for a little while before we start, and I think we were just talking about, kind of getting to that next level of no longer framing things in a good or bad sense in our daily life, just kind of taking life as it comes, life on life's terms, as they say. And I think that's a powerful reframing of our daily lives, and something I've been personally trying to do in my own life to just keep the momentum, not let the high get me too high or the low get me too low.
No, and that's a crucial thing, right? I mean, in other podcasts and other discussions we've had on and off the air, right? We talk about conditioning. We talk about conditioned thought patterns, and you had brought up an amazing point. From the time we're little, right? We're told, this is right, this is wrong. No, stop it. Let's like when you bring home a new puppy, stop it. You can't go there. You can't have that. You can't.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is right. You get your cookie, you get your reinforcement if I'm a good boy or good girl and I do what I need to. And that works in a lot of senses in life, right? I mean, you think kindergarten, right? If I'm respectful and we share, you don't take my blocks. Now we don't have a problem,
Yeah.
right? Nobody's, getting time out in the corner. And but we carry that with us, I think. And so it's a tough conditioning. And so I'm wondering, Ken, if you can, kind of maybe speak to, all right, I get that. I understand why that's important, in life, right? And when you break the law, there's consequences. So we understand why it's there. But on certain other levels, it can actually hinder us. And so I think that's, the parts we've been reflecting on.
I think our minds work I was listening to a podcast on the way here about essentialism in terms of success. And our minds are like, heat seeking missiles. A missile works by not hitting the target, by not hitting, you know, a missile works by looking for the things that it's not supposed to hit. And it does that constantly. Don't hit that, don't hit that, don't hit that, and don't hit that. And by way of doing that, it gets to the target. Right. And I think that's how our minds work in a way. I've noticed in my own life that I will not look for I will I think too often we get in the pattern of like looking for what we're not supposed to do, or we get too used to life saying no to us, right? We get to that negative feedback of life instead of kind of being willing to start, especially with Dream on Purpose. This is kind of relating it back to my own life, is like it took a while for me to start because I was looking for the target instead of just going along and figuring out what the target wasn't. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
no, it makes perfect sense, right? Because we're sort of aligned to sort of get whatever we think we're looking for, right? If it's if it I don't know, just gonna make this up right now. If it's a test or something we have to do, if I get a good grade, that's valuable. If I've achieved my goal, that's valuable. And if I haven't, that's not valuable,
Yeah.
right? And so there's this dichotomy in thinking that exists there where what we're saying is, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. These experiences of no may in fact be valuable, right?
Yeah.
Because the value lies, right? Because at least myself, I'm very shame based. I think I accidentally hit that. I'm very shame based. So if I did this, then I'm good. If I did this,
Yes.
then I'm bad. And I know in my own life, I've gotten into a habit where, hell of a lot of shame, and that's really been
Same.
a deep reinforcing factor in my own addictions,
Yeah.
to this or that. When in fact, when I can kind of take a look at it and say, listen, maybe it's not good or bad, maybe it's a part of this journey, and then maybe it's just as valuable in a different way.
Yes. It's funny. Last night, as I said earlier, that our good friend Paulo, who handles a lot of our uh, strategizing for getting this word out to you guys, we had a meeting last night about our strategy going forward. And without getting into it, it made me feel like everything I was doing wasn't valuable, and I had
Yeah,
that instant instinct, and I had to catch myself and be like, wait, you know, everything I was doing, I'll be able to circle back to. But and this is why I think this is a good topic for today in our own lives. I really try and frame these podcasts from like how they started with just conversations between me and you. And it took a second for me to take what he was saying to me and actually be receptive to it. And it's something I'm working on. Just like, okay, this is just another step in the right direction, another step in the right direction, especially when I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? This has been like I truly I believe trying to frame everything in a good or bad sense has held me back in the past year so much instead of just starting, instead of just going for it. I think Dream on Purpose really what Dream on Purpose stands for is going for it, standing on what you want to do and why you want to do it, figuring out why you want to do it, and being able to like work with your dreams instead of avoid them or feel guilty, um, or just completely settle for less. You know,
don't do that.
do that.
Don't do
Knock it off.
that. No, it's just really, really important. I was, it's interesting because there's, I was in a meditative, doing my meditation, in the morning, and I got caught in that pattern. This is good. I'm doing it right, right? And this is wrong. This is good, Clint. This is bad, Clint. Your mind's freaking out. What are you doing? And I lost the essence of it because then I listened to one of the reflection parts of the meditation, and he's talking about just that aspect of things, right? And it's just like, no, it's the way it's supposed to be,
Hmm.
right? Because I'm trying to get someplace. I'm trying to do it right. Um, and that can create a lot of inner conflict, right? I mean, it sort of disturbed the peace of my mind at the moment, rather than just saying, accepting this is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And again, I think we have aversions towards the bad, but if I look at every bad thing, at least particularly, right, in regards to my own recovery,
Hmm.
those bad things that I thought were bad were really blessings.
Yeah, dude.
You're right. And I can't sit here if I didn't have those things in my past, in my mind, how would they give me direction in a way,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
I don't wanna go back to that, right? I don't wanna do those things again. I don't wanna keep repeating those negative patterns, so it's important to have that, so, that it helps the brain kinda works like that, right? We know things and opposites to each other, yin and yang, other
Yeah.
traditions talk about it, right? And again, it's typically you hear people, "Oh, thank God, this good thing happened." This one, people aren't so quick to thank God for the bad things, but yet if you get into some scripture and stuff like that, it says, "Count it all,"
Hmm.
as well. All things work for the glory of God, right? I mean, so there's these understanding that, like, no, we need those things to get where we're going. And the universe will put things, people like you and me, right? I kept repeating the same. I don't know about you. I kept repeating the same mistakes over
Yeah,
and
dude.
over, until I started looking. You seek and you shall find. I started looking. There's things in my life that allowed me to sort of move on from there, not in a good or bad way, right? But I needed that to go to the net to this level, right? You need those things. I needed those things
Yeah.
in order to sort of grow and develop because that's where I was, and I needed to sort of instead of struggling, right? I gotta get out of this. I gotta get out of this. If you stop, what? Where are you
Let the
supposed?
water clear up.
Yeah, let the water clear. Where can I learn from this? And
Yeah.
we seldom ask that. We just want it to stop. Whatever's going on, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
It's terrible. Make it stop. Make it go away. Let the water clear up.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
Write it down.
Write that down.
No, but I didn't stop going to jail until I took jail as an opportunity. And that's bold to say, right?
That's it, boy. Like, who sees it? Oh, it's an opportunity,
But
right?
don't get me wrong, it took a little while to do that. That was hard. And
Imagine see those flashing lights in your rear view. Woo-wee! This is an opportunity right now.
but for real, I mean,
Yeah,
you're not
I'm
willing to
sorry.
admit it. I wasn't willing to admit it when those lights were in my rear view. When I knew I was going down, I was not willing to admit it. But it stopped me from running that race that I wasn't going to win, right? And it took a lot of reframing things. Maybe not even in the moment. You know, maybe while I was in that jail cell, I might have knew that it was helping me, that I knew that like this is better than the alternative if I would have just kept going on the way I was living. But it more so after the fact when I got some distance between the way I was living and where I was, going to rehab or having that sit down in jail, when I got some distance between the mess ups, the mistakes, the constant cycle of just toxic behavior and patterns, I was able to reflect and not only because you can't have good without bad. You can't have order
Mm,
without chaos. You can't have light without dark. I was able to see that, okay, there are some blessings in going to jail, in all of this madness, mayhem. And I look at it like this: if I didn't go through what I went through, I would not be able to go where I'm going. I look at it like, okay, I could have lived a less chaotic life, but I feel like this needed to happen to get where I'm going. I needed to kind of crash out and go off the rails and realize on a much deeper level my wrongs, my character defects, the things that were wrong in my life, wrong with the way I was looking at my life, so that I could turn them into the way I wanted them to be. It took a lot of reflection on like what is in front of me. Instead of just deeming it good or bad, how does it serve me in however it serves me? You know what I mean? There has to be a way that I can frame this to benefit myself, you know?
oh, and I think it has,
Yeah.
and I'm just, you know, the the skeptics out there can say, well, hindsight's 2020, and they'd be right. They could be right, right? You don't have to wait until you're my age, right? Canon, my friend here is proof that you can start to view these things, and I encourage anybody out there who's going through anything, just stop drowning in 3 feet of water. Just
Yeah.
put your feet down. You know, let me encourage you to put your feet down, right?
Mhm.
And see where the opportunity is in that. And I think that's where the juice is.
If you can learn that, it's not just a one-time thing.
That's where the juice is.
Get out.
Sorry. I just
But
popped
it's
in there.
not just a one-time thing, like that was on a macro level of my life is on fire completely, right? But even now, today, I'm still looking for, I've gotten in the pattern, in the routine of looking for what am I learning from this? I realized one thing. When I had gotten out of Freedom House, when I had gotten done with all the jail stuff and I was on the road to, making up for everything I had done wrong for the past couple of years, the law and, you know, karma, really.
Yeah.
I had gotten to it took it took a second for me to realize that I was hungry for confidence. I was hungry for all these things. I thought I'd figured out a new way of living, and I did, right? I had asked, but I wasn't ready for how I was about to receive. And when I got out of the halfway house, it took a minute for me to realize that these, more trying, because when I got out of the halfway house, things got a little harder. We were in that bubble of the halfway house, and it was
Safe.
it was safe. It was easy. I
Safe.
could start to explore these new ideas and concepts and ways of looking at life. But when I got out of the halfway house, that bubble was gone. That bubble was gone, and it was time for me to use the tools I had. And I wasn't mastered yet. I hadn't mastered these tools. Do we ever master them? Some people do. But on that road to mastery at the very beginning, it was tough. And I was hungry for that knowledge, and I didn't see how I would get more of it. I had gotten it through sitting in a jail cell, through all the, turbulent, very trying and challenging times of on that beginning initial stages of recovery, right? Recovery, not only in an addiction sense, but in a broad term of like, I'm sitting in a jail cell. I don't want to sit in a jail cell. How do I recover from this? How do I, get back on track here? And within the past couple months, I've realized that this past year has been challenging. There have been things that, not nowhere near as hard as what I was doing before, but I hit this brick wall because I was like, well, I get it now. I understand what's going on. I have why isn't it just working? Why isn't
Yeah.
it just working out? And I didn't realize that the strength, the confidence, the mental fortitude, mental fitness was going to come in a similar way that all the other things come for. When you ask for something, when you decide on a lifestyle, on a
When
better,
you set the intention,
you know,
like you're always talking about, right?
it's going to come to you. And if you're not open to how it's going to come, because I thought my life's just going to straight up just go up,
Straight up.
just
Sky's the limit right now.
yeah, we're good. We're rich as fuck. And I didn't realize that, okay, this might be a little challenging. But sitting down in the past couple months, I've been able to reframe and reflect and find that it's always been happening. I've always been getting what I've asked for. I've been getting
Always.
exactly what I asked for. Right?
I love that. Always been getting it. And I think that's where people get stuff. That's where I've gotten stuck, right? Any bad thing happens. And that's where without getting too deep in the woods on this, talk about recidivism. We talk about relapse a lot, kind of recycling old patterns. And recidivism is a recycled pattern. Relapse is a recycled pattern from not learning, right? Because I just wanted to stop. I wanted to go away,
Yeah.
right? You know, and my thinking was that it just got crazy, right? It's just like something that I got a car wreck or jumped off, jumped off a building. What had happened was I got a little crazy. I just need to pull back a little bit. No, no, you need to kind of take a look and reevaluate your life. I'm like, all right, this hasn't worked. It's not like you need to pull back, wait, and then go back to what you were doing,
I like
right? That's like it kind of hit, you stop, you let traffic go by, and you kind of think,
Yeah.
maybe it'll just be different this. How's it going to be different? What are you doing that's
You
different?
haven't learned how to swim.
Haven't, no.
No,
I
you just
didn't at
got
all.
you got pulled out of the water by force, sat on the bank, the water cleared, and you looked at it like,
'Cause
"Oh, the
'cause I
water's
didn't
clear. I can jump right back in." And then you
and I
jump
thought
back in,
then
and
it
it
was
gets messy,
it
messy,
right away,
messy. Fuck.
right away. Because I didn't learn, right? I
Mhm.
didn't use it as an opportunity. So the universe, God, loving God, like, go back out there. Well, did you learn this time? No. There's always been people in my life to watch out for me. If I really look back and I'm really
Yes.
truthful and honest, because I wouldn't be here. Neither one of us would be alive today if someone wasn't looking out for us.
Yeah.
That's a fact, statistically improbable, right? And so here we are. So all right, well, you didn't learn. All right, there you go. Go back out, do it again. But the opportunity's there, right?
Mhm.
And that's where we get stuck in the trap, right? They might be Eastern tradition, they call it samsara, wandering, right? This consistent wandering, but there's no learning, there's no insight, and that's when you're able to set your intention, right? towards something, where
That's
can I
one
learn?
piece of the puzzle, setting the intention. The second piece is the awareness of how you will receive what you intended to get. And
Yeah,
if you're
that's
not
big.
open and
That's big,
receptive to what's going on, if you're in that mental mind of framing things as good as and bad,
right? I
you're gonna
love how you
block
brought
the
that full
blessings because
circle.
it's it's one thing to set the intention. You can set the intention all day. If I intend to, show my girlfriend that I love her, but with a punch in the face, that's just not gonna work.
That's not
That
gonna
didn't
not
work.
gonna not gonna work out so
If I intended to make sense of what I was saying, but then just completely don't, it's not gonna work. It's like that's one piece of the puzzle. Very important piece is to set that intention. But prayer is not only on Sunday. Prayer is in your work. Prayer is in your relationships. Prayer is in the trying, turbulent times of your life. That's where prayer not only matters, but it's an all the time thing.
all the time. The awareness and the acceptance of what it is as opportunity, even if it doesn't feel good, right? We want things to feel good. We want, like I said, we want to do it right.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have no tolerance for, I have had no tolerance for those difficult times. Just get me back to feel good. It's not feeling good right away. I'm going to do something to try to make myself feel better.
Let's look at
It's not supposed to right now. That's not how muscles grow. That's
exactly.
not
That's
how,
what I was gonna say.
right?
Yep.
That's not how muscles grow. If you go to the gym, you guys out there, it's a great thing to do for your mind and your body, but you're not going to get growth if there's not a little resistance,
Yep.
right? Nothing's, nothing, you don't have anything unless it's been tried,
You do not get growth
used.
without resistance.
It's just the principle of life.
Very on in when me and Clint started hanging out, I think you'll remember me saying that like I'm looking at what's going on with you when everything you're going through, you've had success. You've had that material success. You can probably, you've had very loving and enjoying times in your life. But to get where you're going, to receive the growth that you're now experiencing in mind, body, and spirit, and will continue to experience in the future, you had to go through what you had to go through to connect with people. You can only go as deep as you've gone. You can only connect with people as deep as you go. I like the one quote is, the the branches can only reach to heaven if the roots go to hell, right?
Love that.
Eh,
Love that.
it's all part of the same tree, bro. You have to be able to frame everything. It's how you can go to the gym and just hate it. You can go to the gym and hate it. You can hate it every way, all the way through. But if you continue to going to the gym, you'll get that growth. It doesn't matter whether you like it or don't like it. It's an outcome, it's a result that you're going to get if you stay consistent with the gym. So why not frame it in a way that works and allows you to feel good while you're doing it? To allows you to enjoy while you're doing it. And if it's not the gym, if it's working on that business, it's going to meetings or whatever you do to better yourself that you may not be entirely, thrilled to do, as long as you don't allow it to negatively impact you to the point where it becomes your view becomes a deterrent to doing it, you will get the outcome. So why not just enjoy it in any shape or sense that you can? Knowing that you're doing this for a reason, that you set the intention and you will receive. Ask and you will receive.
And I think the acceptance mindset is one of abundance, right?
Yeah.
If something happens I don't like and I close off to it, that's not an abundance mindset,
Mhm.
right? So similarly, the bad things I have to, again, I get it. We don't like things that are hard. We don't like it. It's just how we're wired, right? You stick your hand on the stove, it's hot, I pull it back, right?
Yeah.
Fundamental principles of life, circling back around, you know, get off the, don't do this, do that. This is right, this is wrong, right? So we want to fundament, but what I'm challenging, our viewers, our listeners to do is to open to all of it with the same level of acceptance, knowing there was no accidents.
Yes.
Trusting, right? There's a faith component here.
Yes.
Trusting that there's no accidents in this process, because that's where I set the intention, right? And now I'm following through,
And that's
right?
beautiful, bro.
You know,
That's beautiful. That is
yeah.
deep and profound and really it almost gives me chills of like that's where God is. That's straight up.
Yeah, that's all there is to that right there,
And
you
you
know?
can't reach I'm realizing that I can't reach the external next level until I reach the internal next level. There is no difference.
None.
And as you reach the internal next level, the external next level will just, appear, will show up, will
It
come.
manifests as a result of
There's
those
nothing
things.
outside of you. Nothing exists outside of you. It is all a reflection of what is going on inside of you, right? And there is this delay. It takes 8 minutes for sunlight to get to the earth. There is this delay, but you don't just wait halfway through. You don't wait for 4 minutes and nope, sun's not coming up today. You know?
It's not happening. Took the day
Gotta
off.
work on my metaphors.
I don't know where to go with it.
Yeah, make it make sense. But you know, I really enjoy sitting here and talking with you and knowing that someone is listening. And I just want to take a moment to thank the people who've made it this far in this podcast. We have a lot more coming out on a regular routine. We're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make Dream on Purpose a resource for everyone. For everyone, whether you've been through similar things to we've been through, or you've already found success in a material sense, uh, an external sense, but you want to reach that next level. Because, like I said, you're not going to reach that next level until you internally reach that next level.
But there's, we're here to help,
Yeah,
and at least for me, none of this makes sense, right? Unless I can help someone else. The most important thing to me, the meaning to life, if you will, comes not in the stuff or what, it's a connection to one another. That's all we really have in life, right? Is a connection to one another, love for one another. And that the idea that if anyone out there is suffering, I'm less for it. May not know it, you know, but we affect one another profoundly.
yeah,
And if I've been able to do anything, it's because of the people that God has put in my life,
100%.
right? Yeah, it's a 100% related to the people that were put in my life. I just had to open my eyes and awaken to it.
100%. 100%. Well, but be on the lookout. We have some new podcast episodes coming soon. A lot more consistency in the Dream on Purpose world. And, you know,
Looking forward to having you guys back.
yeah, that's right. So,
That's
Dream
right.
on Purpose.